Ladies, young ladies, and messenger, good evening to all. Once again, you are welcome to the Tribune for Awakening Consciousness. So, in international news, it's very, very hot. It's really hot. Things are starting to heat up between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. You are well aware that Donald Trump came with a compelling force, a force with which he wants to subject Vladimir Putin to his demands. At the beginning, Vladimir Putin kept a low profile. Everything that was asked of him, Putin accepted, until a verbal ceasefire agreement was reached. Putin noticed that Ukraine is violating. So, Putin resigned himself. He began to observe, until Putin realized that obviously it was deliberate on Ukraine's part to continue violating the ceasefire. And on the American side, not a word. So, it was as if Putin was caught in the trap. I said it was as if Putin did not speak. So, Putin gave the order. Yesterday we talked about it. He gave the order. They began to intensify the conflicts on the field of hostilities. Drones started raining down on several Russian cities. So, all of that is there now. But the real problem is that Donald Trump is now complaining about Vladimir Putin. The fact that Vladimir Putin is questioning Zelensky's authority. Putin says that Russia cannot have Zelensky as a counterpart in Ukraine. If Russia has to sign a peace agreement with an authority, it must be a legal authority. So, Zelensky is not a legal authority. So, that's what's heating things up. For Donald Trump, it's very, very bad. Since he is calculating, he is considering whether to establish an interim government under the aegis of the United Nations, like what Putin proposed. All of this is going to take time. Where will they get the funding for the elections? Next, who will come to power? The one who will lead the interim government in Ukraine. Will this person align with Donald Trump's philosophy? You know that Donald Trump, to align Zelensky with his philosophy, had to resort to several schemes, including humiliation and everything that follows. So there are all these twists and turns. So, that's why Donald Trump is really angry, and righteously angry with Vladimir Putin. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in this video conference, this is of course what we are going to discuss. But before continuing, I ask you to share this video conference as much as possible. Share it in all possible groups, whether on WhatsApp, Telegram, Messenger. Share it everywhere. Don't forget to give likes. So, let's dive deeper. According to the official information, yes, and broadcasted by the media, Ukraine media, the American President, Donald Trump, expressed his anger over the challenges to Zelensky's authority by Putin. He expresses his anger over the challenges to Zelensky's authority. That means it's not just once. It's repeatedly that Putin says, no, I cannot discuss with Zelensky. He is not legitimate, he is not legitimate. But you know, at the beginning of the negotiations, Putin had said he was ready, just to see to what extent these people would be acting in good faith. But as he saw, as we mentioned at the start of this video conference, as Putin saw that these people were not acting in good faith, he, in turn, plays one of his red cards. And this card that he plays, it cannot be beaten. You cannot defeat him with this card. That's why Donald Trump is angry. Because the truth is, Zelensky is not legitimate. He is not legitimate. The truth is, Donald Trump himself said that according to a report, only 4% of the Ukrainian population think positively of Zelensky. Otherwise, the rest do not recognize Zelensky. So, Zelensky is at least sorry. Donald Trump knows that Zelensky is neither legal nor legitimate. Putin knows it too. So, to block America and block Ukraine, as Ukraine is persisting with European countries, Putin plays this red card. I cannot negotiate with a government that is not legal. It has been 3 days since Putin expressed this idea. An interim government is needed in Ukraine under the aegis of the United Nations. This interim government will be able to engage in dialogue with an elected president, who is Vladimir Putin. This is another response that Putin gives to the Westerners, who label him as a dictator. He wants to tell them, you call me a dictator, but I have just been freshly re-elected for a new term, while your Mr. Zelensky refused to organize elections. So, elections must first be organized for Zelensky, and then we will sit down, him and me. But what's the catch? Why is Donald Trump very angry? Because all of this is about time. And in the meantime, Russia is intensifying, accelerating its military actions on the ground. And Russia is reclaiming what should belong to America, namely the rare earths. This is the core of what truly shocks Donald Trump. Share this video conference with me. According to Donald Trump, such statements are not heading in the right direction. These statements follow Putin's suggestion to establish a transitional government in Ukraine. However, Trump himself, who previously had called Zelensky a dictator without an election, urged him to act quickly, warning that otherwise he would no longer have a country. Trump then denied having made such remarks about the Ukrainian president. So, now the issue is heated. The statements that Trump used, he himself is now denying. You know, the guy, he speaks today, tomorrow he says, I didn't say that. But since he knows, if he confirms those statements and sides with Putin, well, usually he sides with Putin. But in this case, if he sides with Putin, his situation is messed up. Because then we might find ourselves in 2026 or 2027 for the peace agreement. Because Zelensky will also do everything to prevent the interim government from coming to power. Zelensky, he's a real problem. Zelensky wants to stay in power until the money arrives. The money in question that he pockets. And Donald Trump is aware of this. So he too is looking to protect his interests. And this is what Vladimir Putin does not want. So here is the difficult situation that arises and puts Donald Trump in a justified anger. It's normal. This is geopolitics. And so, I told you that this situation has reached its climax. It has reached another level. And it risks continuing to worsen. The Russo-Ukrainian situation, now, it's a global situation. We will continue to follow it. Everything that will result from it, we will come back to discuss it here on the Tribune of Awakening Consciousness. But before leaving you, I ask you, for all those who have not yet subscribed, please click to subscribe. And all those who have not activated the notification bell, please activate the notification bell. Thank you to everyone. I will be back shortly with new updates. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.